I
see
have one
that
question about the
Cypress,
course. Like,
or
I
let's
just
say
wanted to
whoever
ask
is, let's say,
if
aware
all these
about
things like
Cypress,
will be covered in
why do you think
detail,
that
right?
Cypress is a
Even the
great
paid
tool
ones, like which are
for
included
the
in
automation,
the paid
and
Cypress.
what are the
Will you be
advantages?
teaching us
And can
how
everybody
all of them?
kind of elaborate a
Cypress
little bit
one
on
guys,
details about
remember
this
that
same?
when I
Why
create an
Cypress
account,
do you
it will be
think
free
is
for
the
14 days, right?
better
So
tool
within that time
comparatively
period,
right now in
obviously,
the
we will
like
be able to
QA
cover
market?
whatever is
Anyone
required
wants
from
to add
the
anything?
cloud perspective. Okay, if you have, okay, then you need to
Okay.
talk about that. Otherwise, whatever is
What do
required
you
from
think?
the
Why like more of the
details.
QA members are, let's say, moving
Okay.
towards
But as part of the course,
Cypress
you will
over
be
the
going through
advantages?
them in
What do you
detail,
think?
like.
Yes,
What are the
yes,
pointers
yes.
which comes
Okay.
into
Yeah, okay.
considerations
Thank you so
whenever we
much.
talk about the automation tool, and when people say that
Anybody else
let's
wants to add
kind of
anything,
start with
guys?
the Cypress automation?
You want to, let's
So
say,
just to give you brief
any
overview,
queries,
guys,
any doubts? Because
as we are
as I
aware,
mentioned, guys,
like
this
the
course
top
will be
most popular
purely in
right now
JS.
also in
Okay,
the
please
market is
remember,
at the
we will
first
be talking
position as
only about
Selenium, guys.
JavaScript.
Okay,
Okay, not on
which is like
TypeScript.
the
Okay,
obviously the
so
open
the
source.
major difference with
And
respect to this
second,
is
where
like there
we
is
have
slight
is
change
like
between the
second and third
syntax part.
position
Otherwise,
is again you
90%
can
of the
see
coding
that
part
it
is
is
same.
being
Only
shared by
thing
both
is there is
Cypress
slight
and
change with
Playwright.
respect to
Okay,
syntax.
and
Otherwise,
both
everything
this
is same.
tool,
Okay,
what we have, let's say Cypress and even
clear
Playwright,
everyone?
both
Okay.
has the prerequisite that you should be aware about one of
Okay,
the
so I hope
programming language,
everyone
that
are
is
clear. Let's move
JavaScript
to
or
little bit practical
TypeScript.
oriented. So
Okay,
before
so
that,
these are the
let me
basic things which
just
we will
give
require
one quick
when
overview.
we kind
So we
of go
spoke
into
about
detail
easy installation.
about the
Second
Cypress.
advantage was
Okay,
like
so
time
please remember,
travel.
guys,
Okay,
everyone,
so wherein
we will
you
be
can record
having
and play
like
back
detailed
all the
sessions
test
on
cases whenever
JavaScript.
it is
Okay,
required. And
because
the
our
third
course is
advantage, major
purely designed
advantage,
with one
you
of the
can consider
programming
as
language, that
automatic
is
waiting guides.
JS.
Okay, so these are the
Okay,
major
and
advantage what
second
we have with
prerequisite,
respect
guys,
to
which will be
Cypress
required from the
over other
installation point of
you
view,
can say
that we will
automation tool.
require the
Okay, now
node
coming to
installation
guys,
as well as node
the
package manager,
prerequisite
which
which
is
I
obviously
mentioned at the
coming
top.
under node.
The first
We
prerequisite
will
which is
require that
required is you
installation.
need
That's
to
it. These are the two
let me write for
prerequisites
installations
which
and
we will
setup
require
what all
when we
things is
will
required.
obviously
The
kickstart our
first thing which we
Cypress
will require is guys
automation
install
practice
node.
activity.
Okay,
Okay,
install node.
so
So I would
talking
request
about
everyone,
my
I'll obviously
introduction, guys,
speak about
I'm
this,
Vikas.
how to
I
install
do
node and
have
everything.
exposure of almost
Second
like
is
12 plus
I
years
will
of
be
exposure into
second, you need
QA
to have
automation. I
install
have been
VS Code,
working
guys.
with almost
Okay,
like all the
install VS Code.
frameworks, so
Okay, so
I
these are the
have
two things which is
good
required. That's
exposure
it. Other
over
than that, we are
Selenium,
good to go.
Playwright,
Okay, so I'll
Cypress.
share the link with
So
you.
these are the
Install node,
I would
just
say
go
the
Google
automation
and
tool
just write
which
a
I
download,
have
or
been
let's say
working. And throughout
install
my
node.
career,
So
I
you will
have
see
been,
that
let's
you will
say,
be going to the
you can
official
consider
website,
more than
and here you can click on pre-built
20,000
installer and click on this
regression
latest version is
entities has
23.
been
So whichever
let's say
version
created
greater
and
than 11
automated,
you need to
and
have
I
into your
have
machine.
exposure
Okay, so you
of
can
creating the
copy,
frameworks
I'll
from
share this link
scratch,
with you all.
maintaining the
Okay,
frameworks,
from this you
reusing.
just need to install it, and
So
once
all
it
the
is
approaches
installed,
whatever
just
we require from the
normal
automation point
process
of
how we
view,
install
so I
other
do have
software. Just click
exposure
next,
on all
next,
the
and once
aspects.
it is done,
uh,
go to the
Other
command
than that,
prompt
I
in
do have
Windows,
some
and in
exposure from Jmeter as well as
Mac
like
you can go
K6.
to
These are the
terminal and
two
just write
performance
node
testing tool, which is
minus
kind of
v. So
you
right
can
now
say
my version will be 18, so this
add-on
is the current
exposure and
version which I'm
experience.
using, guys.
Like
Okay,
it
so for you,
Once you
please, once
have
it is
the
installed,
good
please
understanding
run
on
this
JS,
command
that
called
is
as node
JavaScript, you
minus
guys can
v.
also kind of
Okay, to
have
check the
the
current
understanding
version
on
which is being
K6 as well,
installed
which
into
is
your
like the
machine.
booming tool, which
Okay,
is kind of
so this is one activity
progressing towards the
which you
performance
guys need
testing.
to do.
And K6 is kind of designed purely for API, and it is
Perfect,
moving towards
everyone
the
are clear?
browser Windows,
Okay,
or
next,
you can say
install
web
VS
actions
Code, guys.
automations as well in the
It's
coming
not
days.
the
Okay,
only,
so like
you
in
can
next 2 or
say,
3 months, you
editor
will see
which we
that
should use,
they
guys.
have already
You
released the
can use
experimental version.
PyCharm, you
But
can
yes, in
use
coming days, you will see a
other
lot of
editors
improvement in the
as
K6
well,
area
guys.
as well.
Okay, so it's
So
not
the
that
reason I'm
mandatory that
saying is
I
because
am,
Cypress,
because
K6, Playwright,
95%
all
of the
these tools
people
are
are
using
trying to
JS
have
as
their
a
code over
you
VS
can
Code.
consider
That's the reason,
programming language,
because
guys.
there is a lot of
Okay,
plugin support.
and the
There are a
framework
lot of
design pattern
integration with CI/CD is great, integration with source code management is great. So that's the reason VS Code is preferred comparatively. Okay, so just go to this thing and just write VS Code download, and you will see that for Mac, for Linux, and other this thing you will be able to have. So those who are using Windows, those who are using Mac, so please download, and this is a one-time activity, guys. Okay, everyone are clear? Anybody has any concern, any queries with respect to installation and setup?
Any of the source, let's say community support or Stack Overflow or any of the online.
Okay, if everybody are clear, can anybody tell me why Node, why we require Node.js, guys? Anybody?
Website, guys. And once you navigate to Cypress, right, you will see that
why Node.js?
Here you have section called as Cypress app. Okay,
it's like you can unmute and speak up, guys. That's not a problem. Whatever you think, why Node.js? Why we require Node.js? What is the reason?
So please remember.
So
I'm not having any, let's say,
if you have worked on Selenium in the past, right, you might have seen that we are having something called as Maven, guys, right?
For everyone.
What is Maven?
Okay?
Maven is
who can refer them
build management tool, which is kind of managing or maintaining our build. Okay, in Maven we are having certain commands such as ambient test, ambient compile, ambient all these commands we have, right, which is obviously managing the dependencies, whatever is required for our project. So what happens when we try to run that command? It usually go to the Maven repository, guys. Okay, so there is a website. I hope everyone are aware about that. The website name is MVN repository, and from here we usually download the required dependencies into our project and have it that has that dependencies into our form.xml. Okay, so whatever I told is with respect to Selenium. Okay, in Selenium we do that. Okay, same way Cypress is completely based on one of the this thing which is called as npmjs.com. Okay, so this is the official website where all your packages are being uploaded. Okay, even if you search over here Cypress, you will see that the Cypress is also present on this particular npm as well. Okay, so here you can see that published 24 days ago. This is the current version, and here you can see that this is a command which we can trigger to download Cypress. Am I clear, everyone? Okay, so what is Node Package Manager doing? Basically, whatever dependencies we will require in future, okay, with respect to, let's say, any of the module, let's say any of the test case while executing any this thing scenarios, we will directly come to npm.js and try to search for that particular dependency.
Out of 5,
okay, so detailed documentations will be provided over here. You can go to their official GitHub pages, guys. You can see the detailed you can say documentation here as well, guys. So you have multiple ways to configure the same tool into your machine. Obviously the choice is our how we need to do the setup, guys. You can do the setup from the official website as well, guys. So here also you will see the support for how we can let's say download Cypress, guys. Okay, everyone are clear? Anybody has any doubts, queries, questions, guys?
So it will be
please unmute and speak up, guys. At any point you think, let's say not clear or something, please you can unmute and let's say you can interrupt in between, guys.
I do have one query.
Okay, so npm is Node Package Manager, which is managing or let's say having all the required dependencies, whatever is required for our project. Okay, so here you can see that we are having two approach. One is I can trigger this command, second is I can download the zip version and try to extract that, and after that I need to unzip and then I can
ideally right
do
now
the setup for Cypress. Okay, I will not do with that approach. I will obviously run or trigger through the command only. Okay, so and once you do that, After
most
that,
of
guys, please
the
remember,
cases where we
you
see right
can see
how
over here
Cypress
a
is
little
being
bit
used
more
is
detail
like
about what all things we
they
have.
are
You
trying
can
to
directly
migrate
test
their
your
existing Selenium
applications
framework
into your browser.
into Cypress
We will
with
be able to
a
write our
concept
first
of,
test case
let's say,
while the
POC style, like
installation
proof
setup.
of concept,
You
to
will be
understand
able to
how
debug the
this
failure
framework would
by
behave
checking
in
the
the BDD
assertions.
style of
You
writing,
can
in the
eliminate the
form
flaky
page
test case,
object
which
model
I
style of
already
writing.
told you about. And
So
then you
if
can
the
create a
POC
YAML
or
file,
that
okay,
activity
YML
which is
file,
given by
YAML
the
file. Once
QA
you are
architect
having
is
the GitHub
successful,
actions,
only
CI/CD
then the
Jenkins, if
management
you have
or
the
like they are
dockerizations,
taking the
okay.
decision
So
that
with
we can
respect to
migrate.
this tool, you can
So out
integrate
of
and you can run your
100,
job
if I say
through
that
this
Selenium is
CI/CD integrator,
still
okay.
having a market
And
cap
over
of
here, guys,
50
if
to
you are using
55%,
Cypress Cloud,
then
we will
Cypress
be
is
able
having
to
almost
trigger the
like
concept of
around
master
20,
slave, which
I
is
would say
like multiple
20%,
machine
and
same
other
test
20
case, okay,
25%
which
goes
we
to
have in
other tools
Selenium
such
called
as
as Selenium Grid.
Rover,
Okay,
Playwright,
so we will be able to
Catalan
do this
Studio.
setup as well,
Those are the tools
and
which is
review
being
and
used.
debug
Okay, so
failure
I would
visually,
suggest
because at the
right
same
now
time
it
on the
is
right
in
hand
the
side you
growing
will see the
stage,
assertion
but
error and
again
everything.
the
Okay,
concern over here
over
is you
here
need to
this
kind of
this pie chart or this
actively involve
particular you
and
can
try to
say
create a POC,
line graph,
try
we
to
will
generate
have it in
one
our Cypress
like
Cloud
end-to-end
version, guys.
framework
Okay, it will not be
design
present
for
into our
some of the
normal
module for
while
your
running. Whenever we
existing
will trigger
project,
our test case
and
in
that you
cloud,
need
you
to
will
share
see
with
a
your like
you can say bar graph
management.
like this.
Then only you
And if you have
have,
the
let's say, the
CI/CD, which
decision
is
of
like obviously I
why
told
we
you,
are
right?
kind
We
of
can integrate
having this
and try
Cypress.
to check
Okay,
why the test case
so
are
this
getting failed and
that's the current
everything. Okay,
situation right
and
now
this is
in the
like
QA
the app
market.
quality, wherein if you integrate with
Thanks, Prakash, for the
Cypress Cloud, so at that time we will be able to have this
Anybody else
particular flowchart as well.
any queries, any doubts, any
Okay, so I hope everyone are
Just
clear.
to follow on
Anybody
that
has
one,
any queries,
I'm
doubts,
here in the
questions?
UK, and I see many companies moving
Okay,
from Selenium to Cypress for a while, but
so
now Playwright has picking up.
we'll move
I think it's only
quickly to
because
our
it's
setup,
free.
guys.
I know the
So
background of
before doing the
how
setup, guys,
usability, which
I'll
is
just
about
show
having
you at high
Node.js and
level
TypeScript or JavaScript with
what all
Cypress and
things
Playwright.
usually we
What
have
else is the
whenever we
difference
are
between Cypress and Playwright, other than it being free and
um,
one is not free?
working with Cypress,
no, both
guys.
are
Okay,
free, both are open
so
source. Only
here you can
some
see on the left hand
extent
side we will have the
because, as you
folder
know, we
structure.
need to kind
Okay,
of
and
integrate with some
with
of the
respect
third
to
parties.
folder structure, we will do a detailed
You can
discussions,
say
guys.
if
Okay,
you
in the
want
coming
some better
session
reporting,
we will
better
have something called
flexibility,
as
better
node
flaky
module.
test
Okay,
scenarios.
so whenever
So
you
in that
install Cypress
case,
for the
Cypress
first
is
time,
having
guys,
some
you will see
premium
that we will
included.
have one
Actually, it's
folder
not
called as
completely free.
node
So that
module,
comes under
which will
Cypress Cloud
manage
actually.
and
Okay.
maintain
When it
all the
comes to
required
Playwright, guys,
dependencies
Playwright is
into this
having
particular
like
folder.
obviously different market
After that, we will
this thing
have
wherein
cypress.config.js. How it
Playwright
will
and
get
Cypress
created, we
are
will talk
having
about that.
same
We have package
market this
log.json.
thing
This is
percentage.
again
There is no
managing the
such major
dependencies,
difference
whatever we are
comparatively.
integrating into our
Only
project.
thing is
We have
in terms of
package.json and readme.md
execution,
for just you can say
Cypress and
documentation
Playwright
purpose.
is currently
Okay,
having the same
so
speed,
when you
which is
open Cypress,
obviously
guys, this
you
is the folder
might have
structure
heard
which we
that Selenium
usually follow. If you
it is
want to
taking 1
obviously
second to
have
execute
more
a
folders,
particular test
subfolders,
case,
you can add
when
them. No, not an
Cypress
issue. But make
guys are
sure
kind of
that
taking the
our
time of
main folder, or you
1
can say
divided
the
by
root
10
folder, where all
of
our test
the
case
time which
are
has been
kind of
taken by
having, like all our test case are
Selenium
sitting,
script case.
that is
Okay, so that's the
E2E
major
folder, guys.
I would
Okay,
say
so E2E
difference
folder is the
between
one where we are
Selenium
trying
and
to
Cypress and
make
Playwright.
sure
Other
that
than
all
that,
the
with
test case are
respect to
sitting,
market cap,
and
with
even if you
respect
are
to
following a
advantage,
BDD style of
both the
writing, then we
tools
will
are
have dot feature.
obviously have
And if you are
equivalent
writing
importance
normal
current
test case, you
in the
can
current
write
market.
dot cy dot
Okay,
js.
and the only
Okay,
thing
so
is
that is in
with
Cypress we
Cypress
call that as a
scripts,
spec
you will
pattern,
be
which you can
having
define
a
in our
role of
configuration,
performing the
whether you want to
performance test
trigger
as
dot
well.
feature
You can
test case or you want to
kind of
trigger dot cy dot
perform
js
the
test case.
performance test,
Okay,
because the same
so any
script you need
questions
to
on the folder structure,
have
guys?
the
Because I
virtual
will
user
do a
logic,
detailed discussion on
then
this, but
duration
before
logic,
that, anybody
iteration
has any
logic, so
query
that
on
you
this
can set up
particular folder
by
structure?
involving some of the dependencies,
Anybody
and you will
wants to
be
add
able to
anything, guys?
have the
Please.
performance activities as well, performing
So if
like
we
you
do
will be
have
able to generate
multiple
the report as
projects,
well.
so do we need to
Quite
put
a
all the
lot,
test cases
Nitin, but
under the
I think I
E2E
need to
folder.
listen to that again.
You may
Any
If you are
points?
having multiple
Yes,
projects, so when
because
you say
obviously
multiple
there are a
project,
lot of
usually
you can
the
say when I
questions
talk
goes
about
towards, let's
Cypress,
say I'm
in
having a
Cypress we have a
UI,
feature of Cypress Cloud
like
actually, which is again a
UI
vast
related
you can
project
say
and
feature which
API
comes
related
along with
project,
some
correct?
pricing. Okay,
So
so I'll
Yep.
talk about
all
that
the test
later
case
on.
will go under
Okay,
E2E. The answer is no.
so both
You
are
will have
having
separate
obviously
folder
same
for UI,
execution
separate
speed,
folder for API, the
installation
main folder
setup,
I'm talking
browser
about.
support,
So even this Cypress
parallel
installation we
executions,
will do
test
twice
coverage,
actually, for
all this
API, for UI.
remains same when
But
it
if
comes to
your project,
advantage between
let's
Cypress
say
and
QA
Playwright actually.
architect or
Okay,
your project lead is comfortable with having
sure,
those both
perfect.
the framework
So
into single
I'll go
project,
with the basic
then
guys
in Cypress what
because
we do
I'm
under
not sure
E2E,
how
we
many of
create
you are from
subfolder with
complete
respect
manual
to
test,
UI and
how
API,
many of you
and that
have let's say
subfolder
worked
we
on
try to kind
Selenium in
of
the past,
do the
right?
setup, and
So
accordingly all
irrespective
the
of
test
that,
case will sit
whoever
under
is let's say
single
coming to
single
you can
E2E
say
folder.
automation this
Okay,
thing,
so
the
that
only
decision is
prerequisite,
completely
one
your
more
project,
prerequisite I hope
you can say
everyone are clear
architect or
whenever
project,
whoever is
like
kind of
QA lead or
working in
someone.
automation,
If they are saying
you
that
should
no, we
be
don't have
having
we have
good
separate
exposure
base
or
URL, we
like
have separate
enough exposure for manual
you can say
testing
test
means.
data
Okay,
altogether,
so
why
when
we
I
are
say
having in
manual
single
testing,
this thing,
because
right?
to
So
a
in that
stable
scenario you will
environment,
have
right, for
separate
stable
two separate
environment only
project.
then you will be able to
But if they
perform
are
the
saying that we
automation.
have the
That's a
same
very
base
very
URL, the same
you
API is
can
being
say
used over
important point
UI, correct,
because
UI
if you think
screens,
that people
in
are
that scenario what
trying
we
to
can do
develop
is
on
we
dev
can have it
environment
as
and
a
now you are
single
doing the
project,
automation on
and
dev
in that
environment, that
single
is not the
project
correct
we will
approach.
have the
Okay,
both
so
the
the
project
environment
inside
which
E2E
you will
only.
be selecting for
Okay,
automation, that will be
perfect.
a stable
Okay.
environment, and
Now,
there will be
before this,
hardly
guys,
one release
I'm sure
a
that
week
this
or two
particular
release a
folder
week
structure will not get
on that
generated
particular environment.
automatically.
There
Okay,
should
so you
not
need
be a
to
frequent
trigger some
release
command
guys.
before doing
Okay,
this. Okay, so let me
so
kind
that's
of
what that's we
do
will
a quick
discuss in detail.
activity.
So the
Okay,
very first thing,
so
why Cypress?
because
The very
what
first point
happens is
is
like
very easy installation guys,
this
no
Cypress folder,
documentation
this node
required.
module
You
obviously
will
doesn't
be
get
able to
generated
install
automatically, guys.
within
Okay, so
5
what
to
I'll do,
6 minutes.
I'll go to File
You will not
Explorer.
require any kind
Okay,
of documentation, no
basically
need of
like in
path
Finder,
setup, environment
and
variable, all
you
those
can see that we are having
which we
Cypress
require
over
in
here. Okay,
Java, right? Those
so
type of setup is not required. You
at
just
this
need to trigger
particular
a command in
section,
terminal,
okay,
in
I'll
command
create
prompt,
one more
and
new
once it is
folder,
done,
guys.
you are good to go
Okay,
guys.
and
Okay,
that folder I'm
so
keeping
that's
the name
the
as,
first step
please try
which
to
we will do.
understand, this is
Easy
your
installation
choice, you
guys.
can give whatever
Second,
name
you
you
can
want.
see that
I'm giving the
you
name
have
as v
something called as
cypress
guided
automation
support guys.
November
Okay, so
2024.
guided
Okay,
support, guided
so just
setup means
for, you can say,
basically
unique
you will
identifier
be
November
having a
2024,
configuration
and once you
file and
give this
everything
name,
will be
perfect,
generated
after that
automatically into
please
your
open
folder
this
structure.
folder
No need of
from
creating
VS Code.
any
I'm repeating,
specific file,
please
how
open
we
this
do in
folder
Selenium.
from
So in Selenium, you
VS
remember
Code.
we need to
So you
create,
can
let's say, page
exit
object
this,
or
you
let's
can
say
close this, okay,
config file,
and you can open the VS
URLs,
Code
base
again.
URLs,
Okay,
base class,
just
all
make
those
sure
things,
that
right?
the
In
path
this
which is being
Cypress, guys, you
open,
will
okay,
have the
it
same
is
folder structure, whether it
the
is an
one which we
API
created just
automation,
now.
whether it is a UI
Okay,
automation,
so
the
just click
folder
open,
structure
you will
will
see
not
that
change.
empty folder
And
got
this is,
created.
guys, one-time
Everyone are
setup
clear?
which we will
Anybody
be
has
doing.
any doubt,
Okay,
any query?
once this is
So this is
done,
the
you
first
don't
step
need
which
to
you will
change
do.
anything. It's
Okay,
a
after
one-time
that
activity.
you can go
After
to
that, once
terminal,
you do
click
that, your
on new
folder
terminal.
structures will get
Okay, so
automatically
once you go to
updated,
terminal,
and you
guys,
will
you
be
can see
able
that
to
over
have
here
your
you
test
can see
case
that we are
writing,
having the
test case
terminal
execution,
wherein I'm in this
test case,
particular
let's
project.
say
Okay, so
debugging,
once you
whatever you
write
want
ls,
it
you
to
will
do,
see
you will
nothing
be
is
able
there.
to do.
So
Okay,
just clear, and after
next is
that you
readable
can,
test
you
guys.
need
So
to run
whatever you see over here
npm
guys, you will
init.
see that
Okay,
you
so what is
have very
npm
good
init?
visibility,
Basically you are
because in
initializing a
Cypress we
node
are having
package
certain
module.
commands
So
which will
through
be
this
easy
process
to
what will
understand
happen,
what are
one
the
file will
various
get
command, and
created, guys.
for each
Okay,
command we
so we
have the
have
detailed
uh,
documentation, what all
this is the
parameter it can
package name,
accept,
guys. So v
why it can
cypress
accept only
automation
this
November,
parameter,
this is,
what are
I'm
the
not changing
optional
it.
parameter.
So you
Okay,
can
so
see
we
the
have the
package name,
detailed
just hit
documentation
enter.
which is kind
The
of
version. If you want to have some specific version, guys, you can just add it over here. If not, you can hit enter.
it will be having
This
a
is
beautiful
for
structure. you will be able to
UI and API automation. So I'm just writing high level description.
talk about that
Entry point
After
index.js. You
that,
can
we
hit
have
enter.
kind of
Test
click and
command
record,
if you
guys.
want to add
Okay.
some test command. Okay,
So
so
now what
I'll
is
talk
click
about
and
that
record?
later
You
on.
might have
What are
heard
the
some of
different
the
command we
plugins,
need to
guys,
trigger?
to
If you
install
have the
over
git
here
URL,
and
you
try
can
to
manage.
perform this activity.
There are certain
Correct?
keywords such
So
as
same
Cypress
way,
is a
Cypress
keyword.
is having
Then we
something
have
called
all
as
these
Cypress
keywords, right?
Studio,
So
guys.
you can add certain
Okay.
keywords
Now
if
what is
required.
Cypress Studio?
Author,
Basically,
license.
whatever action you
So you
wanted
think
to
everything is
achieve,
fine,
right?
just
Whatever
write yes and hit
test
enter.
case you wanted
So
to
once you do
create,
that, guys, you will
you
see
can
that the same
perform
thing what
the
I
click
just
and
had, right? So same thing, a package.json will
record the
get
action,
created.
and once the
Okay,
recording
so I'm
has been
repeating
done
the steps, guys.
successfully,
Okay, what I
the
did just now.
parameterization, data driven, setting up the CSV file, setting up
What
the
was the
test
first
data,
step?
all
You
those
will create a
activities
new
you can
folder.
change accordingly as per the script. Okay. And the last one is all
And
in one
open
framework. Okay. So what is all in one framework?
that
Basically,
same
you will get the
folder
screenshots
via
and video, you will
VS
get
Code.
reporters support,
Step
assertions
2,
library. The common library which is supported by Cypress is
run
Jasmine,
the
Char,
command.
Mocha. These are the supported
What is the
libraries.
command, guys?
So we will talk
npm
about that.
init.
We have some
Okay,
inbuilt JavaScript
and
test framework which we can integrate by including the dependency from the node package manager, guys.
write
Okay.
appropriate
So these are
detail.
the very you can say in detail discussion or in detail
Appropriate details
advantages what
and
are
create
why we are
package.json.
having Cypress. Okay. So you will
Perfect,
see
everyone are with
beautiful
me.
reports which is
Step
getting
3.
generated. All the
Now the
assertions you
actual
can
step
put
which we are
as per
going to do,
your need.
guys. Okay,
If you want to put 10 assertions,
everyone are
20
with me, right,
assertions,
till this
after
point?
each and
Anybody
every
has any
step
query, any
assertion,
doubt,
it's your
questions?
choice. For each and every failure
Run
scenarios,
the
if you want
command.
to have the recorded videos, screenshots, so that
See,
it
guys,
will
I'm
not
not by
consume that
like
much
you
memory
just need to
how
run this command,
like
or
usually
if you
Selenium
want, you
or
can
other
go
tools is
to
taking. Okay.
download
So we will
Cypress.
obviously talk about
Okay,
this
so
in
you will see
detail.
the official
After
page
that,
over here.
you
Okay,
have
so you can
something called
just
as
trigger this
visual
command.
dependencies,
Okay,
guys.
that is
Okay,
also
visual
fine.
debugging.
And the
Basically,
command
what
which you were
happens
seeing
is
over there, that is also fine. Both
whenever
are
we
fine,
are
guys.
running our test, right,
So you
you
can
see
just
that
trigger
in
this
Selenium
command,
what
guys.
happens, the code is
npm
written into
install
your
cypress
Eclipse and you
hyphen
are
hyphen
running your
save
test,
hyphen dev.
and then again you
Clear,
need to
everyone?
debug. For debugging, again
Anybody
you need
has
to
any
come to
doubt, any
Eclipse and try
query,
to check
any
at what step
concern?
it is throwing
Please
error.
unmute and speak up, guys.
So
And this
comparatively,
particular
Cypress is
process
saying that we are time
will
travel. Time travel
automatically
means
create a
you
node
will
module, guys. You can
see
see
the
that node
steps on the
modules got
left hand
created
side and you will see
and
the
package
behavior on
log
the right hand
JSON got
side.
created,
Okay. So
and
on the left hand
it
side you will
will
see all the command which
download
is
the
getting
Cypress
executed,
latest
and on the
version,
right
guys.
hand side you will see that what all step is being let's say
Clear,
by
everyone?
performing this action
Anybody
what is
has any
happening, by
queries,
performing
doubt?
this action what is happening. Okay.
So everybody understood
Although it
total
is
3
very
steps?
quick, very fast, but you should be aware about this particular
Yes.
command, and accordingly you
Okay.
can do the
So,
analysis.
guys, step 4.
At what step it has entered the value,
You
at
need to
what
run the
step it has
command
clicked on the drop down, at
which
what
is
step it has,
npx
let's say,
Cypress
over the
open.
mouse over some element.
Okay, so what is the
all
command,
these
guys?
are available, guys.
npx Cypress
Next is live reload.
open.
Live
Okay,
reload means
so
if
once you hit this,
let's
it will
say
take
create
few
any
seconds,
script,
guys.
right?
It
You
will show
reload that
us
file,
that you are
it will
opening
be
Cypress
completely
for
in
the
the form
first
of
time.
py.js.
And once it is
Okay.
done, you will see
So
the
you
version
can
over
see
here,
that
guys,
on the side by side
13.15.0.
you will see the
You can
script,
see the
and on the right hand
documentation.
side
So
you
this
can save and
documentations
run,
will
save
navigate
and
you
run,
to the
save and run
official
multiple times, guys. Okay. There
website,
is
like
no such
official
criteria that
community
you
support and
have some
everything. And
limitation.
here you can
As
see
soon as
that
you
I
press
am
Control
logged in
S
through
from your VS
one of
Code,
the
because
account,
we
that
are
is
going to
GitHub
use
account.
the editor
So that's
as
the
VS
reason I
Code,
can
which
see
is
over here. For you,
mostly
there will be
supporting
login actually.
which we are having
And
the prerequisite.
here we
And
have two
as soon as you
sections,
press
guys.
C Control S,
I want the
automatically
answer
your
from you guys.
script
What is
will
the
trigger
difference
and
between
it will throw
E2E
an
testing
error
and
if
component
there is
testing?
any
Anybody? Already
assertion
the
issue
answer is
or
over here
page
only,
load
but
issue or
just at
element
high
issue.
level,
Okay.
I want to put this discussion
Next is
point
native
amongst you.
browser, guys. So
What is
you
the
can see
difference
on
between E2E
the
testing and component
left
testing,
hand
guys?
section you can
Anybody?
have the
You can
console
unmute and
area.
speak
You
up.
can see over here, guys, we have the console area,
I
as
think
well as you
E2A
I'll
is
talk about
end-to-end
this
testing.
screen is called as Cypress Runner base.
Just want to
And
make sure
we are having
we are
the
just
support for all the browsers
testing right from the
such as
starting to
Chrome,
end. Whereas
Edge,
component
Firefox,
it deals about the
Electron.
individual
These are the
components or
common
modules.
browser which we are using. Okay,
I believe
and if you
is
want
perfect.
to inspect
So
My understanding.
some of the
Unit
values, right,
testing, it's
at the
kind of
time
unit
of
testing in
execution on
like
the
we'll do
right
in
hand side, you
component
can
testing.
inspect
Usually
what
it
are the
will
cookies value,
be
what are
conducted
the
by
session
developers.
value,
correct.
what is being stored in the local
Component
storage,
testing usually
everything
is
you
done
can
by
check
developer,
when the
correct,
actual
which is
test
also
is
called
running,
as
guys.
unit testing.
Okay,
So now
you
the
can
question arises
if you
over
want to
here.
clear the cache, if
Cypress
you
is
want to
being
clear
used
the
by
session data,
QA.
everything is
Yes,
available.
Cypress is
So we will
also
be able to
used,
inspect at
or
the
let's
same
say
time. Screenshot and
for
video, I
unit testing
already talked
framework,
about this. So we
it is
have something
also the
called as
tool which is
videos,
being used
we
by the
have something
developer
called as
guys.
screenshot.
Okay,
So
so
the
that
videos and
the
screenshots are
developer will be kind of working in
compiled
a
in
module or
.mp4
in the
format,
section called as
and the
component
same
testing.
screenshot and the
Okay,
same video
and
is
we as a
getting
QA
attached
who
to
are
your
kind of
HTML
responsible for doing
report.
regression, sanity,
So in
smoke,
Cypress we are having one
you
reporters,
can
guys,
say
that is called as
all
Mocha
different
XM
types of
reporter. We
testing,
will
right?
talk
We will
about that
be
later on.
focusing
And
only
this
on one
is
section,
on
that is
our choice
E2E,
whether
and
you
that's the
want the
reason
videos
when
and
I click on
screenshots or whether
E2E,
you don't
guys,
want.
I
Okay,
showed you
so
previously the
obviously once
screen
we are
wherein
ready with
here
your
there was
framework,
E2E
everything is
folder,
set up.
correct?
After that
So all our
only
test
we will
case will
turn on the
imbibe
video,
under
guys,
that particular
because
folder.
of
Okay, so
like
that's the reason
memory
our
issues.
major focus,
Obviously all these
90%
are
of the
getting
QA or
recorded, so all the
95% of the
steps
QA
what
is
is being
purely
performed, guys,
focusing
it
on
is
this
kind of
particular
getting
area
converted into
only. Okay,
.mp4 format.
so we will be obviously
Okay,
clicking on E2E,
last is
guys,
embedded
and
cloud,
once
guys.
you click
This
on
is something
E2E,
which I
you will
told
see
you
that
that this is
here the
having some pricing
configuration
involved.
file
So
which I
this
showed you
particular
previously,
section previously
this
we
file
used
will
to
get
call this
added.
as
Okay, so
Cypress
you can
dashboard.
just check
The
the
name has
content
been
if you
updated
want.
to Cypress
Okay,
Cloud.
because there is
Okay,
no
so
back
if you
actually
want
from
to
here.
get integrated with all
Mandatory,
the
this is
CI/CD
mandatory step, guys.
such as
Okay,
GitLab,
you cannot
GitHub,
say that I
Git,
don't want this file, I don't
you
want
can
this file.
consider
No, that
Circle
is the
CI,
Cypress
Azure,
configuration file,
Bitbucket.
and it is
So
a
we have the
mandatory step
integration. You
which
just need to do
is
this activity
including
one time.
this
Your
file
code should
under
be
one
present on
folder.
that
Sorry, it
particular
is
repo,
including
and you
directly
can
into
trigger
our
the test case via
Cypress
CI/CD,
project,
that is
guys. Okay,
Jenkins,
so once you
via
click on
Azure
this,
Play.
in the
You
back
can
end you will
say
see that Cypress
Azure
config.js got
part.
added,
Also, you can
Cypress
create a
folder got
pipeline,
added,
guys,
guys.
in Azure, and you can trigger your
Clear,
test case
everyone?
accordingly. Okay.
Perfect. Understood?
So I talked about first is
And
easy
now
installation,
the
and
very
then second
important
is time
part,
travel.
this thing
Okay.
point,
Third is
guys,
automatic
here
waiting, guys.
you will
Okay.
see the
So what is
browser which are
automatic waiting?
locally
Basically,
installed into
Cypress
your
is having the
machine.
default
Okay,
page
for
load
me
time,
Edge is
default
installed, for me
loading time
Chrome
for
is
all the
installed, for
activities
me
which are
Electron
being
is installed,
considered. Okay.
Firefox is
Even if the
installed. That's
page
the
is
reason
loading and
these
it
are
is
all
waiting for
coming under
almost like
Chromium,
60
guys.
seconds,
Okay,
guys,
and
unless and
Geco
until the
driver. So
page
that's
gets
the reason we
loaded.
are able to
Even
see
if
this
it is not
browser's
able to find the
option, and
elements
from
over the
this we
web
can
page,
choose
then
any
only
one
it will
of
throw
them.
an
Okay,
exception.
so
Okay,
whatever
but
browser
till
you
that
will
time it
choose,
will
your
keep
test
on
case
searching
will
or keep on
start
validating where
executing
that
under
element is.
that browser.
So
First
automatic
it will
waiting
ask
means
you
you
to
don't need
generate
to
some
provide
default
the
example actually.
explicit wait or
Okay, so here you will
implicit
see
wait
that
what we have in
scaffold
Selenium.
example
Okay,
specs
you don't need to
and create
provide
new
those type of
specs.
wait.
Okay, and
Cypress will
here bottom you will
automatically
see view
understand
spec
at
pattern.
what point I
So
need to
this
wait,
spec
at what
file is
time
nothing but test
I
case.
need to
In
execute the
Cypress
test
we
case in
call
a
this as a
faster
spec
manner.
file, but spec
Okay,
file is
and then we
equivalent
have
to what?
some
Test case,
options such
guys.
as retry,
Okay, so
isolation,
I'll just do
flake
one last
detection.
activity
Flake
before we
detection,
end
please remember
today's
that
session.
it comes with
So
a
over here I'll
premium,
click
guys.
on scaffold
If you
example
want to
for
do a
you guys to
retry, you
practice,
just need
and
to
after that
provide
I'll
the
click on
logic in
OK,
the
I got it. So
config.js.
all
In
these
case if it
files,
is
guys, whatever
failing,
you can see,
then
around
it will
25
try one more
25
time,
to
two
30
times.
files
That
got
value
added
you can provide,
automatically
and
into our
accordingly
project,
it will
guys.
do a
Okay, so here you
retry
can
for
see under
the
E2E,
failed
these are the
scenario.
file, and all the
Then we
coding and
have test
everything has been added.
isolation. Test
So we don't
isolation
need to
means
worry
like
right now.
if you
Obviously
want
I'll talk
to,
about
you can
this
see over
later.
here.
Okay, because any
Here
which
we
ways
have
we are not
logins
going
as a
to
member. After
obviously
that, if
talk
you want
about
to
this right
clear
now. We
session,
will create
cookies,
our own test case
local
and try to
storage, you can
understand
do
that,
that.
and later on
After
we'll
that,
move to this
again
particular
you want
example.
to kind of run a new
So
test case, you can do that,
this is
where your
the
login page
screen which
cookie
will
will
be
be new.
getting
You
displayed
can
every time whenever
trigger
you
that test
open
case
Cypress.
again. So
okay,
each test
so I'll
case
close from
is
here, guys.
actually
As soon as you
considered
close,
as a fresh browser,
you need to
fresh
close the
browser
Cypress instance also. So once
and
you
each
close, you
time
can
it
see
is
that we
running
detected
a
that
new
Chrome browser
you
was
can
shut
say
down auto
scenario,
like
new test case
unexpectedly.
in a separate
And over here you
browser.
can just trigger one more
Then we
command
have
clear,
snake
so that
detection. I
everything will
already
get
told
clear
you
from
that
here.
it comes with a premium, guys. It
Okay,
will not
so
be
just
having
to
in
summarize,
the
just to kind of
you can
give
say
complete
free
overview,
version.
today
Okay, and
we
that comes
started
when
with
you
our
try to have
discussion
the
on
Cypress
little bit
cloud
why
with you.
Cypress,
Okay, you need
and
to have
I
some
was
pricing
completely
involved for
focused on
Cypress
Cypress, guys. So
cloud.
we have
That we
spoken
need to
about
have
the
it.
advantage, we
After
have
that we
spoken about
have
the
the
installation
consistent
and
result,
setup,
guys. So
how what
consistent
all
result
steps
means
you need
if
to
it is
follow.
getting passed for
When at
10
high
times,
level I spoke about
obviously
why
if
we
unless and until
are
there is
using
no change
Node.js,
over the
and
environment or
after that we
something,
have spoken
only
about the
then the
steps which
Cypress
we
will
have taken
provide
into
the
consideration
consistent
into our VS
result,
Code.
guys. Okay,
And
and
guys,
you
please
need to
remember
select
this
the
will be our
locator in such
project
a way
name
that that
throughout our
locator will remain
practicing, you can say
same
practical
throughout
part, guys.
your
So
let's
we
say
will completely
over the
focused on
period
this
of time,
particular
guys. Okay,
project
so the
only.
locator selections and everything is completely
Anybody
on
got
us.
any queries,
Obviously
any
we need
doubt,
to
any
have the
questions, guys?
conversations with
Please
the
feel free to
developer
ask,
that
guys.
what are the unique identifier or locators which you are
Anyone?
having when you are developing your this particular page. So that discussions we can have it with the developer, guys.
Perfect.
Okay,
So
so
anybody
I'll
wants
just
to share
quickly talk
your
about
questions
all
over
three
chat
advantage.
window? Please
First is
feel free
easy
to kind of
installation, then
I
we
think
spoken
somebody
about
has
time
raised your
travel,
hand.
and then we
Soumya, any
spoke about
questions?
the
I think it was
automatic
previous
meeting,
question or
guys.
something.
Anybody has any queries, any
uh
doubt, anything you want to highlight, guys,
Soumya,
before I move to the next advantage?
we cannot hear you if you are
Please
speaking.
feel free to unmute and speak up, guys.
Anybody else has any questions? If you want to put your questions over chat
So
window,
all these
guys,
are
please
present
feel
on
free
their
to
official website, guys. Okay,
okay, I
anybody
think
wants to add anything
we are
which you
good.
think, let's say, I didn't spoke about or
So
something?
yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
have
you
one
everyone,
question
thank you so
about the
much.
course.
We will
Like, I
meet
just
tomorrow at
wanted to
same time.
ask if
This
all these
sessions
things
will be
like will be
recorded,
covered
guys,
in
and this
detail,
recorded
right?
session
Even the
link you will
paid
be
ones, like which are
getting over the.
included in the paid Cypress.
I'm not audible.
Will you be teaching us how all of them?
The
We can
Cypress
hear
paid
you.
one, guys.
Okay.
Remember that when I
Ramki,
create
can
an
you check
account,
at
it
your
will be
end,
free
please?
for 14 days,
Yeah, yeah,
guys.
I just
So
said to
within that time
Soumya.
period, obviously,
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
we will be
That
able
it
to
was for
cover
me.
whatever
Yeah,
is
no problem.
required from
So
the
yeah,
cloud
so guys,
perspective.
these
Okay,
sessions will
if you
be
have any
recorded
queries,
and
please
will be
ask.
provided to you.
Okay,
And
then we
tomorrow
need to talk
also
about
we'll
that.
have
Otherwise,
deep dive
whatever is
into
required for
Cypress UI.
related
I would say UI part. So
Okay.
we'll have at
But
same
as
time,
part
guys.
of the course, you will
Uh,
be going through
Thank you
them in
so much.
detail, like.
Thank you
yes,
for taking
yes,
out your
yes,
time
Okay.
obviously.
on Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so
We'll
much.
meet tomorrow at same time, guys. Thank you once again.
Anybody else wants to add anything, guys? You want to let's say
This
Over.
conference will now be recorded.
any queries,
So
any
just to give
doubt?
you brief
Because
overview,
I,
guys,
as I
in the
mentioned, guys,
yesterday's
this course will
discussion,
be
we spoke
purely in
about
JS.
how
Yes,
like
obviously
what all
we will be
like
talking only
are the
about JavaScript.
prerequisites. So
Okay,
it is
not on
completely
TypeScript.
documented,
Okay,
guys. You will get
so
this
the major
detail once we
difference with
have the
respect to
official
this is like there is
you can
slight change
say
between the
project
syntax part.
created, and
Otherwise
once it is created, we
90% of the
will I'll
codes are
share
the
this
same.
notes
Only
and
thing is
everything
there is
over
slight
the
change with respect to
readme.md
syntax.
file, so
Otherwise
you guys
everything
can
is same.
refer this. Okay, so in the yesterday's discussion, guys,
Clear,
we have
everyone?
just spoken
Okay.
about the official so we went through the official, you can say, cypress.io
Okay,
website,
so
and
I
I
hope
showed you what are
everyone are
the
clear. Let's move to a little
advantage
bit practical oriented. So
which
before that,
Cypress is
let
having
me
compared to
just
other
give
automation
one
tool,
quick overview.
and why
So we
Cypress
spoke
is
about
being
easy
kind of
installation.
referred or
Second
preferred
advantage was like
over
time
other
travel. Okay,
automation.
so
And
wherein
after
you
that, we
can
spoke about
record
how
and
to
playback
do
all
the
the test
initial
cases
setup
whenever
in
it is required.
Cypress. What
And the
are the
third advantage,
prerequisite
major advantage,
with
you
respect
can
to
consider as
Windows
automatic
machine as
meeting,
well
guys.
as
Okay,
Mac
so these are
machine,
the
what
major
all things are
advantage what we
required.
have with
And
Cypress
for our
over
practice
other
purpose, I
you can
spoke
say
that I
automation
have
tool.
showed you
Okay,
that we
now
will be
coming to it,
having one
guys,
particular project,
the prerequisite which I
and
mentioned
all
at the
our
top.
activity
The
and
first
everything will be
prerequisite which
kind
is
of
required is you need
having
to
like everything will
like
be
let me write for installation and
stored
setup
over that
what all
particular
things is
folder.
required.
And
The first thing which
today
you
I
will
will be
require
going
is,
in
guys,
detail
install
about each and
node.
every
Okay,
folder structure.
install node.
And then later
So I
on
would
we'll start
request
with the
everyone
test case creation,
I'll
guys. We'll
obviously
create today around
speak
2 to
about this
3 test
how to
cases. Like the
install node
first
and
everything.
Second
3-4
is
test case,
I will
and
be
our session will be
second
more
you
of
need to
like
have installed
UI
VS Code.
oriented as of
Okay,
now. And
install
once we are good with the
VS Code.
UI
Okay,
scenarios
so
test
these are the
cases,
two
then
things
we'll
which is
move or
required. That's
jump
it. Other
into
than that, we are
manual
good to
API
go.
testing,
Okay, so I'll
Postman,
share the
and then
link with you.
API.
Install
So
Node. Just go Google
till
and
this
just type
point,
download
anybody
or
has
let's say
anything to, let's say, share or
install Node.
like
So you will see that
share,
you will be
speak up,
going
or
to the
doubt or
official
query,
website,
concern,
and
please
here you can click
feel
on
free to
pre-built
unmute and
installer
speak up,
and click
guys.
on this latest
Anybody
version
has any
22.
concerns, please
So whichever version greater than
feel free
11 you
to
need
kind
to
of
have into your machine.
ask your
Okay,
doubts, guys.
so you can copy. I'll share this link with you all. Okay, from
Okay.
this you just need to
So I
install it,
believe
and once it
everyone
is
are good.
installed,
So today we
just
will be talking
normal
about the
process
folder
how we
structure
install
in
other software.
details.
Just
Okay.
click next,
So in
next, and
yesterday's
once it is
discussion,
done,
guys, I
go to
already
the
told you
command
that we are
prompt in
having this
Windows,
particular
and in
folder structure, which I showed you already.
Mac you
And this
can go
particular
to
folder
terminal
structure
and just
will
write
be default,
node
and
-v.
additional to that you
So
can
right now
have
my
other
version will
files,
be
but
18, so
yeah,
this is
this
the current
particular
version
folder
which I'm
structure will
using now.
remain
Okay,
consistent
so for you,
irrespective whether
please,
you are
once it is
following UI
installed,
automation
please
framework
run this
or
command
you
called
are
as
following
node
API
-v.
automation
Okay,
framework.
to check the
Okay,
current version
only
which is
thing
being
is your
installed into
file will
your
keep on
machine.
adding. If you
Okay,
have something,
so this
let's
is
say
one
Jenkins
activity
related part, so you
which
will
you
see
guys
one
need to
Jenkins
do.
file over here. If you have something with respect to YAML GitHub actions, so you will see one
Perfect,
YAML
everyone
file
are clear?
GitHub workflow. So all this will
Next,
be kind
install
of
VS Code,
additional
guys.
file which will be part
It's
of
not
this
the
particular, as well
only
as additional
you can
file will be
say
added into
editor
this
which we
particular
should
folder
use, guys.
structure.
You can
So
use PyCharm, you can
today
use
we'll be talking
other
mostly into
editors
what is
as well,
this
guys.
particular
Okay,
folder
so
structure
it's
doing,
not
guys.
that
Okay,
mandatory
so the
that
very
I
first folder
am
you can see that we
because
have Cypress, guys.
95% of the people
Perfect.
are trying to
Under
have
Cypress
that
you
code
can see
over
that we are
VS Code.
having
That's the
something
reason,
called as
because
E2E.
there is a lot of plugin support. There are a lot of
We have guys.
integration with CI/CD
After
is
that we are
great.
having support.
Integration with
Okay,
source
now
code
let us
management
discuss
is
in
great.
detail
So
about
that's the
each of the
reason
folder structure.
VS Code
Okay,
is
now
preferred
what does
comparatively.
E2E
Okay,
contains, guys?
so
E2E
just
stands for
go to
end-to-end test
this
that I
thing and
already
just write
discussed in the
VS Code
yesterday's
download, and you will see
session.
that for Mac,
E2E
for
is
Linux,
nothing but
and other
all
this thing you will be
all
able to
your,
have. So those who
we
are
call
using
that as
Windows,
a
those
spec
who are
file,
using
guys. In
Mac,
Cypress we
so
call it
please
as a
download,
spec file.
and this is a one-time activity,
We
guys.
actually
Okay,
never call that as a
everyone
test
are
case.
clear? Anybody have
We
any
call this as
concern,
a
any
spec file,
queries with
or
respect
all
to
your specs
installation
file
and setup?
will be stored at this location. Am I
Okay,
clear, everyone?
if everybody are
Okay,
clear, can
so in
anybody tell me
E2E,
why
guys, you
Node?
can
Why
create
we require
multiple folder
Node.js,
as
guys?
per your
Anybody?
wish. There is no limitation with respect to that, but all your test case,
Why
okay, when I say
Node.js?
test case, you can consider spec file in Cypress, guys. Okay, and all your test case
It's
spec file will be
like
stored
you can
into
unmute and
E2E
speak up,
folder.
guys. That's not a
Okay, and the
problem.
extension
Whatever
can
you
be
think, why
anything,
Node.js?
guys,
Why we require
irrespective
Node.js?
whether it
What is the
is
reason?
.cy.js, .feature,
So
.js, whatever it is, but that logic we need to follow,
if you
we
have
need to
worked on
provide in
Selenium in
our
the past,
config file,
right,
guys.
you might
Okay,
have
so
seen that
Cypress will
we are
understand
having
that
something
we are
called as
executing the test case
Maven,
with
guys, right?
extension so and so.
What is Maven? Maven is a
Everyone are clear with
build
E2E, guys? Anybody
management
has any
tool
concern,
which is
doubt,
kind
queries
of
for E2E?
managing or maintaining our
What does
build.
E2E
Okay,
means?
in Maven we are
Yes,
having certain
anyone?
commands such as ambient test, ambient compile, ambient
Okay,
all
perfect.
these commands
Next
we
is,
have,
guys,
right, which is
fixture
obviously
folder.
managing the
Fixture folder,
dependencies whatever is required for our project.
all your test data,
So what
okay,
happens
will
when we
be
try to run
stored
that
over here.
command? It usually
Okay,
go to the
stored here.
Maven
What does
repository,
this
guys.
test
Okay, so
data
there
means,
is a
guys? Test
website.
data
I
can be
hope
in the
everyone
form
are
of
aware
.json.
about
It
that.
can be in the
The
form of
website name is MVN
.csv.
repository,
It can be
and
in the form
from
of
here we
.txt.
usually
It can be in the
download
form
the
of
required
.xlsx.
dependencies
It
into
can be in
our
the form of
project and have it that have that dependencies
you can
into our
say JPEG,
form.xml.
which is nothing but image,
Okay,
guys.
so whatever I told
.png.
is
Okay,
with
so
respect to
all your
Selenium.
data,
Okay, in
whatever you
Selenium we do
require,
that.
guys,
Okay,
for the
same
testing
way
purpose
Cypress is
will be
completely
stored
based
inside
on
which
one
folder,
of the
guys?
this thing
Fixture
which is
folder.
called as
Okay, please remember,
npmjs.conf.
guys,
Okay, so
in
this is the
fixture folder
official
you can
website
obviously
where
have this
all
subfolders and
your
everything, but
packages
make sure
are being
you follow the
uploaded.
proper
Okay,
naming
even if you
convention and based on those naming convention, you will have all your file over here.
Cypress is also
Okay, so
present,
what is test data,
on this
guys?
particular
Test
NPM
data are
aspect.
nothing but the data
Okay.
which
So
we
here
will
you can see
require
that
for
published 24
performing
days
the
ago. This is the
end-to-end
current version.
execution.
And
Okay,
here
I'll
you can
give you
see
one
that this
simple
is the command
example
which we can
of
trigger to
one of the
download
website,
Cypress.
guys.
Am
Okay,
I
so
clear,
we
everyone?
have something called
Okay.
as
So what is
you
Node
can
Package
consider
Manager doing? Basically,
skyscanner.co.in.
whatever
Okay,
dependencies
so this
we
is
will
a
require
website,
in
and on this
future,
website, what all
okay,
data we
with
will need?
respect to,
We will
let's say,
need
any
the
of the
from
module,
location. We will
let's
need
say
the
any
to
of the test
location,
case
departure
while
date, return
executing
date,
any
number of
different
passengers.
scenarios,
Okay,
we
so
will
total
directly
5
come to
data we need,
npm
guys.
js and try
Okay,
to search
so
for
what
that
happens
particular
usually in
dependency.
most of the
Okay,
you can
so
say
detailed documentations
web
will be
related
provided over
automation,
here.
guys.
You can
This
go to
data
the
is
official
being
GitHub
passed
pages,
via
guys. You
API,
can
and
see
this
the
data
detailed,
will be passed in the form
you
of
can say documentation
JSON,
here
guys.
as well,
Okay,
guys.
what is JSON?
So
JSON
you
stands for
have multiple
Java
ways to
Single Object
configure
Notation.
the same
So when you pass
tool
this
into
data
your
in the form
machine.
of JSON,
Obviously,
this data will be
choice is
kind of
ours
filled
how
over
we need
here.
to do the
Okay,
setup, guys.
and
You
this
can do the
based on
setup
this
from the
data,
official
if you
website as
user
well,
clicks
guys.
on
So
search,
here
we
also
will
you
get
will
the
see the
result, guys. Okay,
support
so
for
this
how
is
we
just
can,
one simple
let's say,
example. What I wanted to
download
convey
Cypress, guys.
is the data
Okay,
which is being
everyone
passed
are
over
clear?
here.
Anybody has
We
any
will not
doubts,
hardcode the
queries,
value in
questions,
the
guys?
test case, guys.
Please
Okay,
unmute and
so
speak
what
up,
we will
guys.
do,
At
we
any
will
point you
store
think,
those
let's
data
say,
in the fixture
not
folder,
clear or
fixture
something,
file,
please
and
you can
from there
unmute
we
and
will read
let's
the
say
data
you can
and we
interrupt
will
in
use
between,
into
guys.
our E2E test cases.
Okay,
Am I clear, everyone?
so
Anybody has any
npm is
doubt,
node
any
package manager,
any
which is managing, or let's say
you can say questions,
having all
queries,
the
guys?
required
What is fixture
dependencies,
folder
whatever
doing?
is required for our project. Okay, so here you can see that we are
Perfect.
having two approach.
Okay,
One is I can
next
trigger
is
this
support,
command.
guys.
Second is I can download the zip version and try to extract that.
So
And
guys,
after that
before
I
I
need
move
to
ahead,
unzip and then I
everybody
can
can hear me, right? Anybody is
do the
facing
setup
any
for Cypress.
technical
Okay,
issues?
I
Because
will not
in
do with that
yesterday's
approach. I will obviously
session,
run or trigger through the
some of you
command as
guys were
command
facing
only.
let's say
Okay,
technical issues.
so
So
and once
is
you
there
do
anyone
that,
who is
after
facing
that,
technical
guys, please
issues with
remember,
respect to
you
screen
can
sharing or
see
let's say
over here
audio?
little bit more
If no,
detail
then
about
we'll continue
what
our
all
discussion,
things we
guys.
have. You can directly test your
Yeah, I can see that.
applications into
Perfect.
your browser.
Thank you,
We
Jagjeevan.
will be able to
Oh,
write our first
let us
test case
continue,
while
guys.
the
Next is support
installation
folder,
setup.
guys.
You will
What is
be able
support
to
folder?
debug the failure by
Support is the
checking the
third folder which we
assertions.
have into
You
our
can
Cypress
eliminate the
folder
flaky
structure,
test case,
guys.
which I
So what
already told you
support
about,
folder is doing
and then you can
basically?
create a
Support
YAML file.
folder
Okay,
will
YAML file.
allow you
Once you are having the
to
GitHub
add
actions, CI/CD, Jenkins,
the
if you have the
require
dockerizations. Okay, so with
plugins
respect to this tool, you can integrate and you can
dependencies.
run your job
Okay,
through this
so when we are
CI/CD integrator.
creating the
Okay,
framework from
and
scratch,
over
guys,
here,
you
guys,
will have
if
few
you are
things we
using
need to
Cypress
add
Cloud,
into
we will
our
be able to
support
trigger
folder.
the
So
concept of
support folder
master slave,
internally it
which is like
contains two files.
multiple
One file
machines,
is called
same
as
test case.
command.js.
Okay, which we
Okay,
have in
one file
Selenium
is called
called
as
as Selenium
command.js
grid.
and second file is
Okay,
called
so
as
we will be able to do
e2e.js.
this setup as
So I
well
would request
and
everyone,
review
please
and
don't get
debug failure
confused with
visually,
the
because
E2E
at the same
folder
time
and
on the right hand side you
E2E.js.
will see the
JS stands for
assertion error and
JavaScript.
everything.
So this
Okay,
particular, this
over
two
here
file will
this
be pure
this pie chart
responsible
or
for
this particular
managing,
you can say
maintaining,
line graph, we will have it in our
like
Cypress
having
Cloud
all the
version, guys.
required
Okay, it will
dependency
not be present into
from
our normal
your
while running.
respective
Whenever we will
you can
trigger our
say
test case in cloud,
framework,
you will see
because whatever
you can
dependency
say
we
bar graph
required, guys,
like
I
this.
told you that from where we
And if
download
you have the
from
CI/CD, which is like obviously
npmjs.com,
I told
correct?
you, right? We can
So
integrate and
one
try to check
liner,
why
that
the
is
test case
import
are getting
statement, we
failed and
need to write
everything.
inside what?
Okay,
Inside
and
our
this is like the app
e2e.js
quality,
and
wherein if
command.js.
you
So
integrate with
whatever test case we are
Cypress
having over
Cloud, so
here,
at that
they
time we will
actually
be
look
able
for
to
the
have this
dependency.
particular
So
flowchart as
that
well.
dependency is present inside command.js and
Okay, so I
e2e.js.
hope
So
everyone
they
are
read
clear.
those
Anybody
values
has
and
any
accordingly
queries, doubt,
execute the
questions?
test case. If those dependencies are
Okay,
not mentioned under command.js and
so
e2e.js, guys, we will
we'll
like
move
Cypress will
quickly
throw
to
an
our setup,
error.
guys.
So we need to
So
resolve that
before doing the
exception,
setup, guys,
error,
I'll just
uncaught
show you at
exception,
high
whatever
level
error it is throwing,
what
guys.
all things usually we
Okay, So everyone clear with what is support folder, guys? Working with Cypress, guys. Okay. So here you can see on the left hand side, we will have the folder structure. So guys, one more thing,
with
you
respect
can
to
see
folder
that we are
structure,
having
will do a detailed
command.js.
discussion,
So
guys.
command
Okay.
means
In the
what?
coming
You are
session,
having certain
we will
commands,
have
right?
something called as
So
node module.
in Cypress,
So
you have
whenever you
the
install Cypress for the first time, right,
feasibility
you will see that
that
you
you
will have
can
one
create
folder
your
called
own
as
command.
node module,
When I
which
say
will
you can
manage
create your
and
own command,
maintain all the
basically what I
required
mean is
dependencies into this particular
you will
folder.
be
After
able
that,
to
we will have cypress.config.js.
you will be
How it
able
will
to
get created, we
have
will talk about that.
your
We
own
have
command, as in you can give the
package.json.
name of the command
This is again
and what
managing
action
the
you want to perform
dependencies,
under that
whatever we are
command, correct?
integrating into
So
our
you can
project.
add it into
We
your
have
Cypress framework.
package.json and
So whenever you
repo.md
want to
for
trigger
just
that,
you can say documentation
the only
purpose.
thing which is required,
Okay.
guys,
So
you
when
need
you
to
open Cypress,
know the
guys,
name
this
of
is
the
the folder
command which you
structure
have
which
declared
we
inside
usually follow. If you
command.js.
want to
Okay,
obviously have
so
more
when I say
folders,
this customized command,
you can
basically
add
like
them.
in
Not an
Selenium,
issue,
those who are,
but
let's
make
say,
sure
new to
that
automation,
our
in
main
Selenium for
folder, or we
visiting the
can say the
URL,
root
guys, we
folder,
have
where all our
driver.get.
test case are kind of
Okay, and here you need to
having, like
mention the
all our
URL.
test case are
So this is a
sitting.
command.
That is
What is this
E2E
command
folder,
doing, guys?
okay.
This
So
command
E2E
is
folder is the
navigating to
one
a
where
particular
we are
URL.
trying to make
Am
sure
I clear,
that
everyone?
all the test
Perfect.
case are sitting, and
This
even
command
if
is
you are following a
navigating to a
VDD style
particular
of
URL.
writing, then we will have dot
In
feature,
Cypress,
and if you are writing normal
we
test
have the
case, you can
command which
write
is
dot
called as
cy.get.
cy.get.
Okay, so that is in
Okay,
Cypress
so
we
what
call that as the
cy.get is
spec
doing?
pattern, which you can define in
cy.get
our
is
configuration,
actually
whether you want to trigger
a
dot
command
feature
in
test case or
Cypress
you
which will
want to
help
trigger
us to
dot
navigate to the
cy.js
particular
test case.
URL.
Okay.
Okay,
So any
understood, everyone?
questions on the folder
Now what
structure,
is
guys?
this
Because I will
command.js
do a
then?
detailed
Okay,
discussion on this.
because
But
what I
before
told
that, anybody has
cy.get
any
is an
query on this
inbuilt
particular
command,
folder
guys. I am not
structure?
creating new command. Now if you
Anybody
think
wants
that
to add
no,
anything,
our
guys?
framework
Please.
should not use get command, our framework should use
So
something,
if we do
let's
have
say,
multiple
my
projects,
bad, guys, over
so
here
do
it
we
should be
need to
cy.visit.
put all the test
If
cases in
my
under the
framework is
E2E folder?
I don't want to use
If you are
visit
having
command, so what
multiple
I can
projects,
do,
so when
I
we say
can replace
multiple
this
projects,
visit command
usually
with
the
some other
questions
command
goes
such as
towards, let's
visit
say I'm
URL.
having a UI,
Okay, this feasibility Cypress
like
is providing that
UI
you can
related project
rename
and
your
API
command.
related project,
Okay,
correct?
and accordingly,
So
wherever you think
all the
that I
test
need
case
to
will
use
go under
visit,
E2E. The
over
answer
there
is no.
instead of
You
visit,
will
guys,
have
you need
separate
to use
folder for
visit
UI, separate
URL.
folder for API. The
Okay,
main
am I
folder I'm
making
talking
sense?
about.
Everyone are
So
clear till
even
here?
this
Anybody
Cypress
doubt?
installation we will do
Query
twice
questions, guys? What
actually,
is
for
this
API, for
command.js
UI.
doing, guys?
But if your project,
So
let's
command.js
say
in
QA
Cypress is
architect, or your
responsible
project
for
is
managing,
comfortable with
maintaining all
having
the required
those both the
dependencies
framework
from Node Package
into single
Manager.
project,
And second
then
thing, what
in
I wanted to
Cypress what we
mention
do
is you
under
can
E2E, we create
override the existing
subfolders with
command. You
respect to
can
UI and API,
create your
and
own
that
command.
subfolder we
You
try
can
to kind of
also
do the
manage
setup, and
some
accordingly
dependencies with
all the
this
test case will
particular
sit
file, guys.
under single E2E
Okay,
file,
so I hope everyone are
single
clear
E2E
with all
folder.
the three folders.
Okay, so
If
that's it.
anybody
When
got any
coming to
doubt,
your
queries,
project,
questions, please
you
feel
can say
free to
architect or
unmute and
project,
speak up,
like
guys.
QA lead or someone, if they are saying that no, we don't have,
Next
we
is
have separate base URL, we have
cypress.config.js,
separate,
guys. Okay,
you can say test
so let
data
us talk
altogether,
about
why
this
we are
in
having
detail because
multiple
this is
streams, right?
something which we need
So in
to
that scenario
make
you will
sure
have
that
two separate
everyone are
projects.
clear with this file.
But if they are saying that we have the same base URL, the
Okay,
same API
so
is
what
being
is
used over UI, correct, UI
cypress.config.js?
streams.
So
In that
previously,
scenario,
those who,
what we
let's
can
say,
do is we can
know
have it as
Cypress
a single project,
10th version
and
or
in
11th
that single
version, those
project
who
we
might
will
have,
have
let's say,
the
downloaded
both the project inside
around
E2E
one and a
only.
half year or 1 year back,
Okay.
guys. This file was named
Okay.
as index.js
Now,
actually.
before
Okay,
this, guys,
so previously the
I'm
name
sure
of the
that
file
this
was
particular folder structure
index.js.
will not
So
get
now they
generated
have updated
automatically.
the
Okay,
name
so
to
you need to trigger some command
cypress.config.js.
before
The
doing this.
reason being
Okay, so
is
let me kind of
by keeping
do
this
a quick
name,
activity.
whoever is
Okay,
referring to the
so
framework, they
because
can
what happens
understand
is like
that this particular
this
file
Cypress
is
folder, this node
responsible
module obviously
for
doesn't get
the
generated automatically.
configuration
Okay, so
part.
what I'll do,
Okay, so when
I'll
I
go
say
to File Explorer.
configuration,
Okay,
configuration means
basically
like
like in
whatever
Finder, and
base URL you want to
you can
set
see
up,
that we are having
whatever
Cypress over here.
environment you
Okay,
want to set up,
so
whatever
at this
predefined
particular
value you need to
section,
have it.
Okay,
So
I'll
all
create one more
those
new folder,
things
guys.
you can have it
Okay,
inside
and that folder I'm keeping the name as
cypress.config.js.
please try
So
to
by
understand
looking
this
at the
is your
file,
choice.
don't
Please
get
understand
confused.
this is your choice.
Don't
You
get
can give
confused
whatever
that this
name you
is a
want.
very small
I'm
file
giving
or
the name as
something.
Cypress
As on
Automation
as in when
November
your framework
2024.
keep on
Okay.
extending,
So
keep
just
on
for you can say
increasing the
unique
count of
identifier
test case,
November 2024. And once you
cypress.config.js
give
will
this
keep on
naming,
updating,
perfect.
guys.
After that,
Okay, so with
please open this
with new
folder
values in the
from
configuration.
VS Code. I'm
So
repeating, please open this
config.js is
folder
managing and
from
maintaining
VS
all the
Code.
optional
So you can
parameter which
exit this,
should
you can
be
close this,
present
okay,
into your
and you can
test
open
case.
the VS Code
Okay,
again.
now
Okay,
I'll show you
just
one
make sure that
documentation which is
the path
present
which
over
is
the
being
official
opened,
website,
okay,
guys.
it
Everyone
is
can have a look into that.
the one which we
If you
created just
want
now.
to play
Okay,
around with
so just
mobile
click
UI,
open. You
so
will
in
see that
Cypress we
empty
have a
folder
command
got
called
created.
as viewport
Everyone
height,
are clear?
viewport
Anybody has
width.
any doubt, any
So you
query?
can
So
have
this is
that
the first
optional
step which you
parameter
will do.
value into your
Okay, after that
config.js
you
and
can go
provide
to
the value
terminal,
in
click
that
on new
particular
terminal.
file.
Okay, so
If
once
you
you go
think
to
that my
terminal,
base
guys, you
URL
can see
every
that
time should
over
be
here
this,
you can
then
see
we
that we
have
are
one
having a
parameter called as base
terminal
URL. You
wherein
can
I'm
set up
in this
that value,
particular
and
project.
accordingly
Okay, so once you write ls,
everywhere
you will see
in
nothing
your
is there.
test case
So
which are
just
present
clear,
inside
and
E2E,
after that
the base URL value
you
will be
need to
that.
run npm
If you
init.
want to read the
Okay, so
value
what is
from
npm
CSV
init?
or
Basically,
Excel,
you are
Cypress
initializing
does
a
not
node
have the
package
direct
module.
support for that,
So
guys. Please
through
remember.
this
I'm
process, what will
repeating.
happen? One
If you
file will
want to
get
work with
created, guys.
CSV,
Okay,
Excel,
so we have
XLSX,
uh,
okay,
this
Cypress
is the
is
package name, guys. So we automation
not
November. This
having
is, I'm
the
not
direct
changing it.
support.
So you can see
Cypress
the
is
package
only
name. Just hit
supporting one
enter.
particular
The
version of
version,
data
if you
file,
want to
that
have
is
some
called as
specific version, guys,
JSON
you
file.
can just
Okay, Cypress is
add
not
it over
having
here.
support
If
for
not, you can
any
hit enter.
other you can
This is
say
for
test data format, that is
UI
.csv,
and
.txt,
API automation. So I'm just writing
.xlsx.
high level
So for
definition.
that, Cypress is saying that,
Entry
hey,
point
please
test.js, you can
download the
hit enter.
required
Test
dependency,
command, if you
add the
want to
code
add
into
some
your
test command. Okay, so
config.js,
I'll talk
then
about that
Cypress will
later
support
on.
it.
What are the
Okay,
different command
so
we
now
need to
I am
trigger?
showing you
If you
one
have a good
section, guys,
URL, you
very
can manage.
important. So
There are
please
certain
go through
keywords
this.
such as
If
Cypress
anybody
is a
got any
keyword.
doubt, query,
Then we have
questions, please
all these
feel free to
keywords,
ask.
right? So you can add
Okay,
certain
so
keywords
this
if
particular
required.
section will
Author,
be talking about
license. So you think
what all
everything is fine? Just
required
write
dependencies
yes and
we
hit
have.
enter.
Okay,
So once you
so
do
let
that,
me show
guys,
you
you will see that the
Cypress
same thing what I just
configuration.
had,
So
right?
this is the
The same
configuration
thing, a
guide, guys.
package.json
So
will get
here you
created.
will see that
Okay,
how
so I'm
we have
repeating the
for
steps, guys.
JS and how
Okay,
we
what I
have
did
for
just now.
TS. If you notice carefully, guys, there is just with respect to
What was the first
syntax,
step?
there
You will create
values
a
are
new
here and
folder.
there. Okay, so please remember, I am already like repeating, those who are,
And
let's say, having
open
good exposure on JS, it's hardly 10
that
to
same
15%
folder
of the changes
via
in syntax
VS Code.
you will be able to catch up the TS
Step 2,
TypeScript as well. Okay, and now these are the optional parameters which we
run the
can add
command.
into our
What is the command, guys?
config.js.
npm
Okay,
init.
so the what are the
Okay,
values? Basically, you
and
need to keep the values as it is. You cannot change. If it is in camel case, you need to write in camel case. If
write
all the letters are
appropriate
small, then you
details.
need to write all the letters as small. Okay, so you cannot have
Appropriate
your
details
own
and
values.
create
These values are
package.json.
predefined, guys. Okay, so as soon as you write
Perfect.
values
Everyone are
in
with
your
me? Step 3.
cypress.config.js, it will show
Now
you the
the
auto
actual step
suggestion,
which we are
guys.
going to do, guys.
So include
Okay,
shadow DOM, what I showed you
everyone are
just
with me,
now.
right, till this
Include
point?
shadow
Anybody
DOM.
has any query,
It is
any doubt,
accepting two
questions?
values. One is true, second is false. Okay.
Run the
So
command.
this all are nothing but the
See, guys,
parameter,
I'm not
or you can say
you
optional
just need to run
attribute
this command,
which
or
you are
if you want,
passing
you can go
in
to
your
download
config.js, and
Cypress.
this all will be
Okay, so
getting
you will see the
applied to all the
official
test case
page
which
over
are
here.
present inside
Okay, so
E2E.
you can just trigger this command.
Is it clear,
Okay, that is
everyone?
also fine. And the
Anybody
commands
has
which you
any
were
query,
seeing over
questions,
there, that is
doubts? So
also
this
fine.
is
Both are
the
fine, guys.
optional parameters, guys,
So you
which
can just
we
trigger
need
this
to
command,
add
guys.
based on our
npm
requirement.
install
And in
cypress
the coming
hyphen
session,
hyphen save
obviously,
hyphen
we'll
dev.
talk about this in detail,
Clear, everyone?
because obviously we will be
Anybody
adding
has
all
any
this
doubt, any
one by
query,
one as per
any
our
concern?
scenarios, guys.
Please unmute and speak up, guys. On
Clear,
this
everyone?
particular process,
anybody has any concern,
automatically
doubt,
create a
queries, so
node
I'll
module, guys.
add
You can
this
see that
URL
node modules
into
got
our
created,
notes
and
section, guys,
package log
wherein you
JSON
can
got
just
created,
refer this.
and
So
it
all
will
the
download
configuration
the Cypress latest version,
which
guys.
is require for all the
Clear,
test
everyone?
cases
Anybody had any
which
queries,
are
doubt?
present
So
inside
everybody understood total 3 steps?
E2E file folders. Okay,
Yes.
so please refer this
Okay.
URL, guys. Okay,
So
if
guys,
anybody got
step
any
4.
doubt, query, questions, please feel free to ask.
You need to run the
Perfect.
command.
So till here, I
Which
hope
is
everyone are clear.
npx
Moving to the next
Cypress open.
file, which is very important.
Okay. So what is the command,
Package
guys?
log.json, guys.
npx
So what is package
Cypress
log.json? Package
Okay.
log.json
So once you
is
hit this,
one such a
it will
file
take few
which
seconds, guys.
include all
It will
the
show us
required
that you are opening
dependencies.
Cypress
Okay,
for the
their
first time.
version. This is the
And
version,
once
guys.
it is
Okay,
done, you will
you can
see
see
the
this is a
over here,
version.
guys,
Now the
13.15.0.
concern over here
You
is
can
what
see the
are all
documentation.
this
So this
actually.
documentation
Okay,
will navigate
so
you
these
to
are
the
nothing but the
official
dependencies which are present
websites,
inside
like
your
official
node modules,
community
guys.
support and
Okay.
everything.
Now what
And
is
here you
node
can see
module?
that
I
I am
wanted to
logged in
update
through
first
one
that,
of the
and then we will
account,
talk
that is
about
GitHub
package
account. So that's the
log.json.
reason I can see over here
So
for you.
very
There will be
important, guys,
login access.
node module
And
is one such folder in
here we
Cypress
have two sections,
which
guys.
is having
I want the answer from
various
you guys. What's the
npm
difference between
dependencies. It
E2E
includes
testing
what,
and
guys? It
component
includes
testing? Anybody?
various
Already the answer is
npm
over here only, but
dependencies.
just at high level, I
Please
want to
remember
put this
this. It
discussion point
includes
amongst you.
various
What is the
npm
difference between
dependency.
E2E
Now the
testing and
concern is,
component testing, guys?
if you notice the
Anybody?
size of node modules, guys,
You can
this
unmute
node
and
module
speak up.
will be already of around 60
I
to
think
70 MB, guys.
E2E is
The reason is
end-to-end
it is
testing,
already holding
Yes.
by default
which
certain numbers
just want
of
to
package.
make sure
Okay.
we are just
So when you try to install
testing
third
right
party
from the
dependencies
starting to
package
end.
inside
Whereas
this, so
component,
what
it
happens?
deals about
It
the
actually
individual
goes and
components or
updates the
modules.
node module, and you will see
I
that
believe
respective folders and everything
So
will get updated.
Unit
So
testing,
these are
it's
already
kind of
the
unit
JS
testing,
file. Okay,
like
so
we'll do in
these are
component
readable.
testing.
You will
Usually it
not be able
will
to update
be
it. These are
conducted by
read-only file,
developers.
guys. Okay.
correct.
So if you try to save it, it will
Component
not allow you
testing
to save it,
usually is
guys.
done by
Okay, please
developer,
remember.
correct?
So
which is also called as unit
what I am
testing.
referring is,
So
guys,
now
please
the question
remember,
arises over
these
here.
are the
Cypress
you can
is
say
being used by
files
QA.
which is something
Cypress is also
predefined
used,
provided by
or let's
Cypress
say,
when you install download for the first time,
for unit testing
and this
framework.
will be something which will
It is
remain,
also
and
the
it
tool
will
which is
keep
being
on
used by
adding
the
this.
developer,
Like
guys.
whenever we
Okay.
download any third party dependencies,
So that, the
all the
developer
files
will
and
be
everything
kind of
will
working
keep on adding in which folder,
module
guys?
or in the
Node
section called as
underscore module.
component testing.
Okay.
Okay.
So node
And
underscore
we as a
module, it
QA
include
who
various
are kind of
npm
responsible
dependencies.
for doing
Okay,
regression,
please
sanity,
remember this one
smoke,
point. And
you can
even
say all
Cypress
different types of
is
testing, right? We will be
one of the dependency
focusing
only, guys.
on one section, that is E2E.
So you remember
And that's
what
the
command
reason
we have
when
triggered
I
when
click
we
on
loaded the
E2E,
Cypress?
guys, I showed you
npm
previously the screen wherein here
install
there was E2E folder, correct? So all our test
Cypress
case will imbibe under
hyphen
that
hyphen
particular
save
folder.
hyphen dev.
Okay, so that's
I
the
hope
reason
everyone
our
remember
major
this.
focus,
So when you trigger
90% of
this
the
command,
QA or
guys, what
95%
happens?
of the
It
QA
will
is
try to go to
purely
node
focusing on
package
this particular
npmjs.com.
area
It will search for
Okay.
Cypress
So we
keyword.
will be
Okay,
obviously clicking
and
on
whatever
E2E, guys.
package is
And
available
once
with
you click
Cypress,
on
all the
E2E,
content
you will
will
see
get
that
downloaded,
here the
and once it is
configuration
downloaded,
file,
it will
which
store
I showed
inside
you
a node module.
previously, this file
Okay,
will get
so
added.
even if you
Okay,
see
so you can
node
just
module, we have
check the
this, and
content
when
if you
you try to
want.
go to Google
Okay,
and try to
because
check the
there is
GitHub
no back
copy of
actually from
Cypress,
here.
okay,
Mandatory.
Cypress
This is
GitHub. So
mandatory step,
if you
guys.
go to this
You
section,
cannot say that I don't want this
you will
file,
see
I
that
don't want this file. No,
we are
that
having
is the
few
Cypress
this thing
configuration file, and it is a mandatory
files.
step.
Okay, so
which
all these are part
is
of your Cypress
including this
dependencies,
file under one
guys.
folder. Sorry,
Okay,
it is
so
including
right
directly
now,
into
obviously, we are working
Cypress
in the
project, guys.
you can say
Okay.
UI
So
mode.
once you click
Okay,
on this,
so
in
all
the
the
backend you
node
will
package
see that
manager, right? Whatever is
Cypress
whatever you
config.js
can see
got
over
added,
here,
Cypress
all
folder
will be
got
getting
added, guys.
installed by default into your node
Clear,
module
everyone?
folders, guys. Okay, so
Perfect.
this is the source code
Understood?
for this particular file. It is in TS,
And
JS.
now
Okay,
the
so
very
everything
important
this particular
the
code
thing
are
point, guys.
managed and maintained by
Here
the
you will see the
like the
browser
developer
which
who
are
are working on
locally installed
Cypress.
into your machine.
Okay,
Okay,
So
for
I
me,
hope
Edge is
everyone are
installed. For
clear till
me,
this point. Okay,
Chrome is
what is node
installed. For
underscore
me,
module?
Electron is
Moving
installed.
to package
Firefox is
log.json,
installed.
guys.
That's
This
the
is nothing
reason
but all the
these are all
dependencies are
coming under
centrally
Chromium
located and it
base,
is
okay,
present
and
inside
Gecko
this
driver. So
package
that's the reason we are
log.json,
able
guys.
to see
This
this
is a long
browser's
file, guys. Whatever
option, and
dependency
from
you
this
have
we
seen,
can
right,
choose any
it
one
will
of
keep
them.
on adding into
Okay,
this
so
particular folder.
whatever browser you
Okay,
will choose,
and the
your test
last
case will
is
start
package.json.
executing under that browser. First, it will
What
ask you to generate
package.json is
some
doing,
default
guys, you can see
example
that
actually.
we are
Okay, so
having dev
here you will see
dependency.
that
Okay,
scaffold
it will
example
manage
spec
your dev
and create
dependency,
instance. Okay,
everything will
and
be
here
managed and
bottom you will
maintained by
see
what?
use package.
Everything will be managed and
So this
maintained by
spec file is nothing but
Cypress
test case. In
package.json, guys.
Cypress we call this as
Okay,
a spec
so please
file,
remember,
but spec
whatever
file is
dependencies we
equivalent
will
to what?
require in
Test
future
case.
also, it will keep on
Okay,
adding inside
so
this
I'll
particular
just do one
folder.
last activity
Okay,
before we
please
end
remember this.
today's
So
session.
here also, if
So
we
over
require
here I'll
certain
click
more
on scaffold
dependencies, it will
example
keep
for
on
you
adding.
guys to
Okay,
practice,
so
and
all
after
the
that I'll click
dependencies,
on OK,
let's
I
say if
got
we
it.
need to
So
work with
all these
JSON, if we
files
need to
guys,
work
whatever
with
you can see,
XPath, if
around
we need to
25
work with
25
any
to
of the
30
third-party
files got
dependency,
added automatically into
the
our
Cypress
project guys.
package.json
Okay,
will
so
get
here you can
updated.
see under E2E,
Okay,
these
so
are
to
the files
demonstrate
and
that,
all the
we will
coding and
quickly talk
everything has
about.
been added. So we don't need to worry right
Before
now.
that, can
Obviously I'll
anybody
talk
tell me
about this later.
which
Okay,
locator
because
Cypress
any
is
which ways we are
supporting
not
by
going
default?
to obviously talk about this
Which
right now.
locator
We will
Cypress
create
is
our own
supporting?
test case and try to understand that, and
CSS.
later on we'll move to
CSS
the
locator.
Jmeter example.
Cypress is not
So
having the support for
this
any of the
is
locators, guys.
the screen
Cypress
which
by
will
default, it
be
is
getting
supporting one
displayed
of
every
the
time whenever you
locator
open Cypress.
that is
Okay,
called as
so I'll close from
CSS
here guys.
cascading
As
style
soon as
sheet
you close,
locator. It does
you
not
need to close the
have the
Cypress
support
instance
for
also.
other
So once you close,
you
you
can
can
say
see that we
locator. How
detected that
Selenium is
Chrome browser
supporting
was
total
shut
8
down
locator, right?
like
So
unexpectedly.
similar to that,
And
Cypress
over
is
here you can
supporting
just trigger
only
one more command clear so
CSS.
that
Now I'll
everything will
just
get
give you
clear
one
for you.
demonstration, guys.
Okay, so
Cypress is
just to
having the
summarize,
support for
just to
XPath
kind
also,
of give
but for
complete
that you
overview,
need to
today
go
we
to
started with
her
our
official
discussion on
page,
little bit
that is
why
Cypress
Cypress,
XPath.
and
Okay,
I was
and
completely
you can
focused
see
on
that this
Cypress guys.
package
So
has
we
been
have spoken about the
depreciated, but still
advantage, we have
most of
spoken
the
about the
organizations
installation and
still
setup,
if
how
they
what all
have their
steps you need to
let's
follow.
say locator in
So
the
and
form
at
of
high level I
XPath or
spoke about
something,
why
what they
we
do is
are
they try
using
to add this
Node.js,
into
and
your
after that we have spoken
particular
about the
folder,
steps
sorry,
which we have
particular
taken into
dependencies into your
consideration into
VS
our
Code, guys.
VS Code.
Okay, so I'll
And
just give
guys,
you
please
one
remember this
demonstration,
will be
guys,
our
before I
project
move ahead.
name
So
throughout our
inside E2E, what
practicing,
I told,
you can
all
say
your test case will
practical
be
points.
available. So
So
this
we
is
will
one of the
completely
test case
focus on
actually.
this
Okay,
particular
so
project
I'll move
only.
to this particular section. Over here, guys, you can see
Anybody
that
got any
when I'm
queries,
writing
any doubt, any
cy.xpath, you can
questions,
see
guys?
that
Please
it is
feel
not
free to
showing
ask,
me
guys.
any of the auto suggestion. Okay, so
Anyone?
please try to understand this. Now what I will do, I will try to show you one activity,
Perfect.
basically what
So anybody wants to share
dependencies
your
we
questions over chat
add
window,
into
please
our
feel free to
folder
kind of
structure, so
I think
that
somebody has
we will be
raised
able
their
to
hand.
use the
Soumya,
command and
any
everything.
questions? I
So
think
here,
it was
guys, it
previous
is
question or
clearly
something.
mentioned install with npm. So just follow the documentation. So you need to say
Soumya?
npm install -d cypress xpath. So copy this command, paste it over here, hit
I
enter.
cannot hear you
Okay,
if you are speaking.
once you do that, what will
Anybody
happen,
else
it will add one
has any
package, guys.
questions?
So
If
here
you
you can
want
see
to put
that
your
it
questions
has
over
added
chat
one
window, guys,
value, and
please feel
inside
free
package.json,
to
guys, you can see that Cypress XPath has been added. How this got
okay, I
added? By
think
running this command, what I showed you just
we
now.
are good.
Okay, now even if you
So
go to
yeah, thank
the
you everyone, thank you so much. We will meet
documentation
tomorrow at
structure,
same
guys,
time.
you will see that
This
we
sessions will
need
be
to add
recorded,
one more
guys, and
line,
this
so
recorded
everyone can
session
see,
link you
guys,
will
this
be
include
getting
inside
over
your
the.
project support file.
I'm
What does
not
this
audible.
means, guys? Yes, anyone?
We can hear you.
Okay. Ramki, can you check at your end, please?
Yeah, I just said to Soumya.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you
Got
remember,
got
right?
for me. Yeah, no
I
problem.
spoke
So
about
yeah. So guys, these sessions will be
something called as
recorded and will be provided to you. And
command.js
tomorrow
and
also we'll
e2e.js,
have
right?
deep dive
Inside
into
support,
Cypress
you can
UI.
have something called as
I would say UI
command.js.
part.
So you can copy this value,
So
guys,
we'll have at same time, guys.
and put it inside
Thank
either
you so much. Thank
e2e.js
you
or
for taking out
command.js.
your time on
Okay,
Saturday.
so this is the activity
We'll
which
meet
we
tomorrow
do.
at same
After
time,
that,
guys,
please press
thank you
Ctrl S,
once again.
and that's it. We are done, guys. Now you go to your file, any of the test case, guys. Okay. So you will be able to see the command of XPath also. So how you can see this? Because we added the require dependency. Is it clear, everyone? Anybody has any query, questions, doubt? Yes? Anybody wants to add anything? So I'm repeating the steps what we did, guys. The first step what I did is I installed the Cypress XPath with this command. Now the question is, can we install only with this command? We can install with this command also, guys. Okay, so don't get confused. Both the commands are correct, so you can install with any one of them. Once you install, after that you need to update your either e2e.js or command.js out of this one of the file. Okay, and after that, once you do that, you will be able to execute this particular command. Clear, everyone? Anybody has any doubt, query, questions? Okay, so I hope everyone are clear with what is package.json. So you might have seen now the package.json got updated with one more value called as Cypress XPath. How this got added, guys? This got added through the command which we have triggered, guys. Now, in our case, in our framework, Cypress will have the support for two locators. One is CSS selector and second is XPath.